people. I am so glad that you are back here and I get to accompany you on a brand new episode of Z Connect. Well, what do we have in store for you today? A little bit of adventure, a slice of entertainment, a dash of art and lots of light. Well, you'll find this out as we begin the show. So without further ado, let's start. Dubai is one of the most famous destinations in the world to visit. Stunning topography ranging from sprawling deserts to long stretches of pristine beaches to spectacular skyscrapers and a plethora of shopping options. These are just one side of this exciting city. And to highlight the unique experiences that Dubai can offer, Dubai Media Council has initiated a campaign called Dubai Destinations. So join me in my expedition to see how this city looks from a bird's eye view from over the dunes. Destination Dubai initiative brings forth a number of things that you can experience in this emirate. Today we are taking you on a magical flight on the golden dunes to experience a breathtaking sunrise on a hot air balloon adventure. Join us to explore this beautiful landscape from a vantage point and to enjoy this truly once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Guys, our altitude now is 2,500. We are still climbing. Now it's 3,000 feet. It's our altitude now.
So here we are experiencing the most beautiful sunrise in the skies of Dubai from this hot air balloon being about 4,000 feet above in the sky. It's magical. It's really nice up here. It's a little windy, a little chilly, and nice and peaceful and silent, and watching the sun coming up. Love it. It's really nice looking at the dunes from here. We see some gazelles running around. We're going to be landing in about 5 minutes from now. Our car is approaching us to pick us up as soon as we land. Hot air balloon ride. So we finally landed after that hot air balloon ride. We took off from a different spot and we landed in a completely different spot. I don't know where we are right now, but it was such an experience. Oh my God, watching the sunrise from that height, what about 4,000 feet, that altitude, and down we had an aerial view of the nature. We could see sand dunes, we could see gazelles running by. camels, we could see birds flying around. Oh my God, it was magical. This was my very first hot air balloon ride, and I'm glad it was in my own city, Dubai. And this is yet another unique Dubai destination that you must try. What an adventure.
Okay, so what was your experience? Did you like it? Did you like
What do you think, Captain? I have such a huge smile on my face.
I'm very happy.
Did you know, by the way, this was my very first hot air balloon ride. I've never done it before. And I was a little scared in the beginning, especially with, you know, when we had that little briefing session and when you were telling us about the landing and holding on and, you know, leaning back and everything. I mean, those are all very useful tips. But at that time, I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen up there, you know, and when we're landing, how bumpy is it going to be? But you made it so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
So this morning before Dubai woke up, we went and experienced a hot air balloon ride in Dubai. And I think it was the most wonderful experience. Well, accompanying us on this experience is Ben, who has been with us right from the time he picked us up and brought us here where the hot air balloon ride happened. And now we're back with him and he's taking us to the camp where we're going to be served a gourmet breakfast. Breakfast is ready for us. Okay, so I'm going for the English breakfast option. So I've got a sunny side up along with some mushrooms, some bacon and some sausages. There's my breakfast plate ready. So this morning we had the opportunity to experience the most beautiful sunrise in the UAE through a hot air balloon adventure. Yes, that's right. So we took off in the morning just before sunrise. We came to this place where they had a hot air balloon ride waiting for us. They gave us some tips of how we have to get in, get out, and what we have to do during the experience. It was such a pretty sight, I can't tell you. And up above, we could see the sun rising, and down below, we saw the sand dunes, we saw the animals that were there in the desert, the camels, the gazelles, even birds flying around. It was so pretty. And after that, we met our driver again, who brought us to the camp where we had a gourmet breakfast, which I have just shown you all, the widespread. Enjoyed it thoroughly, and now we are all set to head back. So this is an all-in-all experience that you have to try. This is part of the Dubai Destinations Initiative. Well, even if you're not a morning person, I strongly recommend this hot air balloon adventure. Literature for sure entertains, but can it enhance your health? Know this soon after a short break. Welcome back. This year's Emirates Airlines Festival of Literature saw a stellar lineup of the brightest stars from the literary world, like Sara Gay Forden, whose sensational story was turned into an entertaining film, and Rupy Aujla, whose Doctor's Kitchen is an inspiration for people to understand the medicinal effect of eating well. Come, let's meet them. welcome to Z Connect.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
I absolutely love the way you're dressed in Gucci from head to toe.
Thank you.
But before we get to talking about House of Gucci, I want to know something about you. So you were a journalist before you became a celebrated novelist. And what was that part of your life like, being a journalist?
Well, I moved to Milan in the late 80s and I wanted to be a business journalist. So I was writing about business deals and cross-border transactions and markets. And then I realized that the big business in Milano at the time was the fashion business. And so I started covering the fashion industry from the business perspective.
Okay. And then you got around to writing this book, which is House of Gucci. What was the inspiration behind that?
So I'd always wanted to write a book, but I knew that I wasn't a novelist. I actually deal in nonfiction.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for a story that I thought had the power of a strong narrative. And as I was covering the Gucci story day in and day out, I realized that this was my book. And it was such a dramatic story that it was almost like a true life novel.
Yeah. And when you wrote it, did you envision it to become a movie later on?
You know, I always dreamed that it could become a movie. I thought it was so dramatic. I could visualize as I was writing, I could visualize the scenes on a big screen. But honestly, I never dreamed in a million years that it would become a movie with this level of director and cast.
Yeah. So Sara, tell me, what kind of preparation and what kind of research went into writing House of Gucci?
You know, I worked for 2 years on this book, and about 18 months of it was the reporting and the writing. I interviewed more than 100 people. I went into the files that came out in the trial of Patrizia. I worked with the Gucci archivist to go deep into the history of the company and the iconic brands, and the products. So it was a full deep dive into the Gucci story.
Were there any challenges?
Many challenges. First of all, while I was starting to do the research, 2 things happened. The first was the takeover battle by Bernard Arnault of LVMH with François-Henri Pinault. And so that was happening while I was reporting on the story. And then the second thing was the trial, which started in May, and they were meeting 3 days a week. And I wanted to be in court every moment to see the expressions and hear the testimony. Yeah. So that went from May to November, so it was a 5-month-long trial. So there was a lot going on at the same time that I'm doing the interviews and doing the historical research.
Yes. Yeah, so actually to be able to be there as well as do your research was like too much for you.
It was a lot.
Sure. So did your experience of being a journalist before help you in this?
Oh, absolutely. Being a journalist reporting on this story gave me the foundation, and I also tied up, secured the sources that would help me with the story. So I spoke to people like Domenico De Sole, who was the person who saw the longest arc of the story. When he started, he was the lawyer for Rodolfo Gucci, and then when he ended, he was the CEO of the new Gucci group after it became a multi-brand group. So it was people like that who really knew the inside story, who really helped me to bring it alive.
Right. Are you planning to translate this book into other languages?
We've actually have more than 12 foreign language editions all over the world. And so, yeah, it's been very exciting to see how this story is not just an Italian story or not just an American story. It really is touching people everywhere.
Yeah. Tell me, what's next for you?
So I'm actually working as an editor full-time at Bloomberg News, so I'm still a working journalist, and I joke, I say I've traded Armani and Gucci and Prada for Amazon, Facebook, and Google. I write about big tech.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's another book there, but I do feel there's another book coming, but we'll wait and see what it's going to be.
Well, we'll wait and see. What would be your advice to writers out there, budding writers who want to give their shot at?
You know, I think it's really all about finding a strong narrative. And with a story like Gucci, we have a story that's an epic tale. It picks up on themes kind of like Shakespeare, of family and money and ambition and dreams. And so it's important to find stories that touch people.
Perfect. Thank you so much for talking to us, Sara.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Dr. Rupy.
Hey,
How are you?
very well, thanks.
So tell me, Dr. Rupy, from being a doctor to an expert who is into making nutritional recipes now every day, how's the journey been?
It's been an interesting roller coaster, yeah. So I've been a doctor for about 12 years. I've trained in general practice and worked in A&E, and the food element has sort of always been with me throughout my life, but it's being put into practice a lot more now since my nutrition masters,
Yeah.
and also training now in culinary skills. So yeah.
Right. So this is your third book here, right? Doctor's Kitchen 321.
321, yeah.
So tell me more about this one and the other two.
Yeah, so this is probably my most practical book because this is pretty much how I cook most days. When I'm in a rush, I'm coming back from a late shift, the last thing I want to do is have multiple pans on the go and have to do a massive cleanup. So 321 is all about 3 portions of fruit and vegetables per person, 2 servings per recipe, and all using 1 pan. So that way you minimize the washing up, you make cooking far less stressful, and you'd be surprised at how many different types of vegetables you can get in sautés, stews, casseroles, tray bakes, stir fries, you name it, you can make it into a 3-2-1 dish. And looking at the research, what we need to focus on is having more plants in our diet, a lot more different types of fiber, and the way we do that is using a 3-2-1 approach.
I should really read this one.
Yeah.
My husband is always complaining.
Yeah.
Why do you have so many vessels, so many dishes?
Yeah.
Why do I have to clean so much every day?
Exactly. And I think, that practical aspect of eating is something that we've potentially lost through looking at other healthy cookbooks.
True.
My first 2 books were really about taking people on a journey through food as medicine, what the evidence was, what the latest was in nutritional research, and why we need to focus so much on food. The third book is still with recipes, but it's just making it a lot more practical, so you have less washing up and your husband can be a little bit more pleased.
Yeah. Tell me, what do you eat on a typical day?
A typical day is very diverse. So one of the key elements that I think we need to embrace is diversity, because having diverse ingredients in our diet means that we're going to have lots of diversity for our microbes that live in our guts to do their work, and they thrive on diversity. So for me, it could be something like leftovers from the night before for breakfast, or it could be something like oats with some nuts and seeds, maybe some pumpkin seeds, maybe a little bit of fresh fruit, or even frozen fruit as well. And also, I'll do a 1-pan meal. So before I came out here to Dubai, I would have made myself a paella dish with beautiful rice with 3 different types of veggies. I was using whatever was seasonal at the time. So we had some fennel, we had some courgette, and some gorgeous spices always.
Okay, and then after that?
After that, I'll probably have either leftovers from the day before, or even making something with my partner and I. So she'll do the chopping and I'll do the cooking. I'll probably use something from my app that I just released.
Yeah.
We use that as a real time saver and some inspiration as well.
Yeah.
We made movie night nachos, which amazingly doesn't sound that healthy, but it has 3 portions of vegetables in. You have your passata with your tomatoes, you have black beans, we had chipotle paste, we finished it with avocados, we had a little bit of cheese, and we had some whole grain corn tortillas that we made ourselves.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
My mouth is watering listening
Yeah.
to this. I really want to go and have it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, now this one is for our audience.
Yeah.
What should be their healthy approach to living?
I think it has to be about allowing yourself to indulge every now and then and having balanced meals as much as possible. So if you focus on the simplest basic principles of healthy eating, you have to make it sustainable for the long term. There's no point you eating healthy for 1 week and then going back to your normal regimes. You have to instill principles and habits that are lifelong. So I always say to people, think about just one more fruit, vegetable, nut or seed per day, and that cumulatively will have demonstrable impacts over time. And so I always I always talk about having a backup meal as well. So when you're tired and you're usually reaching for the delivery app or takeaway or whatever, make sure you have a meal that's ready in your store cupboard that you can use. It could be chickpeas from a can, it could be a paste that you already have, some frozen vegetables. Having those elements always to hand will prevent you from falling off the wagon, and it will maintain your ability to stick with a healthy diet.
That's a pretty good tip.
Yeah.
So Dr. Rupy, if anybody wants to consult you and take advice, where should we reach you?
So thedoctorskitchen.com is my website where we have recipes and articles and all those different things. And I also have an app which is available in the App Store. You just search The Doctor's Kitchen and it'll be there in the food and health section.
Perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, you're going to improve your health by using this book, okay? I know.
Thank you.
No worries.
We are taking you to an iconic structure of Sharjah, aglow with an artistic display of lights soon after this short break. Stay connected. Welcome back. The facade of almost 20 historical buildings in Sharjah came to life with spellbinding light projections during the Sharjah Light Festival. Join us as we watch the celebration of science, creativity and heritage through colorful lights and music at beloved landmarks of the city under starry winter nights.
We are as Sharjah Commerce and Tourism Development Authority. We take the responsibility of making the tourist attraction more focused and more attractive to every visitor, every guest, every tourist. And that's why we try to make those attractions and those destinations to be more brighter with our Sharjah Light Festival. We start the Light Festival since 2009 when it was an idea, and then it's become more relevant and we start working more and more on it until we did the first preview. That was 2010. Our first edition was 2011, and today we are doing the 11th edition, hopefully this year with full success after all the work we have done. This year our theme is Echoes of the Future, and it's talking about the past 50 years, present and the next 50 years. Sharjah, East Coast and Hamriya. We have 10 locations, and our grand show for this year in Rupy Aujla. Rupy Aujla show, it's the biggest show ever happened in the world in the Light Festival on a natural mountain. It has 55,000 square meters of video mapping. This year we try, as every year our practice, to make each location to be attractive for all level of family. So the family, when they come here, either child or teenage or old citizen or whoever, they will be attracted to the show. We try to make the show known by all the ages. As well as we have our food truck, we have over 30 food truck for the people to enjoy after they see the show. During the festival, we select the new destination, the new location, and then we start preparing for it. By April, we select the top 30 artists in the world, or top 40 artists in the world. So next year we'll have different theme, and according to that, he will start building up his artistic work. And that's take from 3 to 6 months minimum. Just to add one more point, that all our location is free of cost. There is no charges. You can come, enter, see the show, enjoy the environment, enjoy the ambience, and then after that you can go even to the food trucks, which is nearby the University City Hall in Sharjah, as well as in Khan or Faisadam. Also we have a food truck there. So they can enjoy the show for free, and then they can buy whatever they want. Thank you very much.
With this, we come to the end of this episode. Our paths will cross again next Sunday at 8 p.m. only on ZeeTV. Till then, take good care of yourself, and if you tend to miss us, then look us up through our social media handles. Thank you and see you soon.